You would direct our hands and our thoughts and our actions this morning on this most important calendar day of the year for us as a board. Lord, that the decisions that we make and the things that we do would bring honor to you and would be the best for our citizens, Lord. We pray for our first responders. Lord, we pray for our nation. Lord, this upcoming election, Lord, I pray that your will would be done and you would seat the right people in each place up and down the ballot, Lord, to do your will and to do the things that you would have us to do. Lord, I pray all these things in Jesus' name. For his sake I pray. Amen.
Amen. Join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone may be seated. All right, we do not have any presentations today, which is probably a good thing because the agenda is quite lengthy. So, it is 10:02 a.m. and we will open up for public comment. As we do every week, we remind folks that we ask that comments be limited to 5 minutes or less. Commissioners Court cannot take action on items brought up during public comment. Do we have public comment this morning?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is mainly for the citizens that are watching the show, the YouTube channel. There's been a Freebird Church Road. The bridge there has been closed for probably since April. That road was opened back up this last week. We got all the large bus-sized culverts in. We got the road backfilled. We got the riprap on it. It's open. Fences are back up on one side. We're still working on the guardrails, so I hadn't formally announced that it's open, but it is open. We have traffic on it. I put out some updates on social media along as it went. The pictures don't really do it justice. It was a lot larger project than what people realize. The culverts are as tall as this room is. So you can walk through them. They're as tall as this room. There's two of them that are 60 foot long. It's a pretty big project. I'd like to thank John Jones, a local excavating company that helped us do that project. Them with our county guys did the job. We did it probably for less than $80,000, and I was able to do it within my budget. I pray that everybody that I've talked to, different engineers and stuff, this was the best option to go to with the kind of money that we had to do. This bridge could have probably easily cost me $1 million to repair if we had done a full TxDOT style bridge. So trying to work within our funds that we have for the county, do the best job that we could, and it is open for traffic. So just putting that out there.
Excellent.
Excellent. And I'd like to tell everyone I sent a bunch of letters in the mail last week to all the residents in the area, but Wichita County is starting this week and next week on a massive reconstruction of Old State Road. It was something that was promised 9 years ago to the public out there that it would be surface with blacktop. I was able to save about $1 million since I've been in office in order to do this project, and finally had enough in my fund balance in order to do that. So we're fulfilling an old promise that will be done shortly.
Yeah. And both of those are good examples of good stewardship, and sometimes it takes a little longer than you want to, but
Yeah.
raising the funds to do things or saving the money so that we can do
Yep.
things need to be done.
When are they going to start that?
Their county crews are out working on it right now, but they're going to start the overlay next week. So.
All right, thank you all both. Any other public comments this morning? All right, it is 10:05. Public comment is closed. We will move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or proposed action on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the consent agenda as presented. Have any questions or comments on any items on the consent agenda or the motion? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. All right, general business item number 1, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the September 3rd, 2024 regular session, the 2025 proposed budget public hearing on September 5th, 2024, and the September 6th, 2024 special session.
So move.
I only saw the minutes of our regular meeting attached.
No,
Yeah, there's just notes for the public hearing for Friday. I mean, just what
Are
time
they-
it started, what time it ended.
Okay. We'll make sure that those notes are attached.
I think what she's indicating.
Yeah,
is
there's
that-
no, just no, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
there's
make
no
sure that
content,
there's,
it's just
just to make
times.
sure the times are attached to the agenda.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve and ratify the minutes for those 3 meetings. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item itself? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, review and approve the regular bills for payment. Verify payroll taxes have been filed. And order county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically, unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve, verify, and disperse. Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, the motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, discuss, consider, and/or take action to award pest control bids. So everyone should have a spreadsheet that Tana prepared for us. We essentially have 3 bids that were submitted: Shoops, Sicarios, and Arts. Unfortunately, I think, and Tana, correct me if I'm wrong, the Arts bid they have essentially withdrawn, is not being,
Correct.
Yeah.
They ultimately redid it.
Which
said
they can't do,
Yeah, so
so-
basically they withdrew.
okay.
Correct.
So we have 2 bids, the Shoops bid and the Sicarios bid. I know that Ricky, Commissioner Beecham, y'all, because you'd asked for an extra week last
We
week.
reviewed it. Rick wants to speak to it.
Look, I mean, just based on what we got, which was 2 qualified bids for the RFP. So, looking at the numbers, it's a no-brainer almost that Shoops would be the winning bid. They have the means and everything else to fulfill the work, so I don't see any reason why we would do anything different.
Okay. Yeah, then looking at the numbers, that was my take as well. I just wasn't sure if there were any other extraneous factors to consider, but not from your end.
Not from my end. Other than that, I mean, the RFP went out and we got what we got in the
I
time
think
we
they
got it.
were higher scoring on all the RFP measurements, so.
Correct.
So I would go with staff recommendation to approve Shoops.
Second.
Thank you.
Tana, would you be able to send out a notice like to Top of Texas? Did they do any others than,
They actually submitted their bid, but it was a week late,
Oh,
so we
okay.
couldn't accept the bid.
okay, but I mean, as far as, I don't want them to keep coming and not realize that what we've
Yes,
done.
sir, I will
Okay.
reach out to them.
Okay, thank you,
And tell all the bidders there, I mean, I'll let everybody know.
okay.
I did contact, Top of Texas.
You
to
did?
let them know that their bid was late and they were going to come and pick it up.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner Beecham, you made that motion, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve the submitted bid from Shoops to do quarterly pest control for Wichita County. Do we have any questions or comments on this item or on the motion? Okay, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 4, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve the general contractor and GMP for the Iowa Park Annex remodel. Matt, or you want to come up?
Before we start,
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm going to recuse myself from any discussion or voting on this. Due to an unfortunate circumstance where we had a miscommunication, I was given the bids when I believe I should have been. So I'm the only one in the court that has seen the bids, so I'm going to recuse myself from
Okay. So you
any discussion.
recuse from
So,
discussion and go
Yeah,
ahead and
just-
abstain from voting
yeah.
on it. Okay.
just to avoid any potential conflict. I did talk that over with both Mel and our counsel at TAC, and they said that was the best way to proceed.
Okay. All right. Then Matt, I'll turn it over to
Yep.
you.
So, good news today, and I love coming with good news. If you remember, I was here 2 months ago to present those drawings, and at the time we were talking about a possible bid amount of around 1.3 and change. But today, I'm here to present that we received 3 bids. You'll see that on the bid tab that I handed out to y'all. One from Cage Construction, doing business as Gary Baker Construction, M&F Litikin, and Mars Patriot. Mars Patriot was the one who, or not Mars Patriot, Cage actually submitted in hand to our office. The other 2 sent emails to the folks that were on the proposal, and y'all have copies of those. But again, Glenda put together a little packet for y'all to have. You'll see here that all 3 of them acknowledged the addendums, and their base bids were as follows. Cage Construction was $1,151,068 in the base bid. M&F Litikins was $1,084,000 and $389. And then Mars Patriot was $1,129,000 and $856. That were those base bids with completion dates. This is where things get a little interesting. Where Cage Construction was 210 days, M&F Litikin was 300 days, Mars Patriot is 183 days or 6 months.
Matt, is there anything in the RFP that actually ties incentives to hitting those thresholds?
No, there is not. And we don't have liquidated damages in there either. That always can pose a bit of a problem, is to try and figure out, well, do you have them, do you not have them in this kind of business? And a lot of them will pad their bids just because we know we could get into liquidated damages. So it's one of those things that was kind of gone by the wayside, at least in certain situations. We did have one alternate in this bid, and that was in our base bid, we had solid surface countertops in the kitchen, which is great. It's a manufactured product, but you can't put hot things directly on it. So you got to make sure that you're putting down a trivet or a pad or something like that to protect that surface, because it will melt. So we decided to put in there and add alternate for quartz. 2 of them were close. One of them was not, but they're fine with it. So I don't know what else we can do about that. But the alternates were Cage Construction for $42,900 to switch from solid surface to the quartz. M&F had $68,594 to add to do that, and then Mars Patriot was $2,500.
Comma's not in the wrong place?
And that comment is not in the wrong place. So yeah, Glenda had called them and talked to them. One of the things on Mars Patriot was their completion date. They had put it was actually going to be done the day of the bid, which was great. You know, that sounds fantastic. Unfortunately, we knew that was not correct. So when Glenda contacted them to ask, hey, you know, this can't be right. Are you guys okay with this? And also, you know, we just want to make some clarifications on your bid with regard to the alternate. They had since
a magic wand.
Exactly. Anyway, if you total all that up, if you decide that you want to go with the add alternate, you'll see how the numbers work out. Cage Construction is $1,193,968. M&F Litikin, that was the highest bid, was Cage Construction. The next highest was M&F Litikin at $1,152,983, and Mars Patriot at $1,132,356.
It seems not quite a no-brainer, but almost. We've got a kitchen that's used for education and instruction. A lot of public in and out. Counters that don't need extra care and protection.
Correct, and they'll last a lot longer too. You don't have to worry about telling, hey, make sure that you put something under that before you do something, or, you know, it is nice. But yeah, looking at it, it's a little bit of a no-brainer, with Mars being at 6 months and a very small amount on their alternate. But again,
You've worked with this group now?
I did. We've done 2 projects with Mars Patriot. One was over at Midwestern. Sam in our office worked with them heavily on that. I work with them on First Capital Bank there across from the Y, and they were great to work with. We had some issues paperwork side, but other than that, and once we kind of got that all sorted out, they were great to work with. I mean, I've got no
I've worked
complaints.
with all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Only with MF through the county, but I've worked with all 3 of them, and I think they're all.
Right, we
good
had great
collaborators.
bidders. I can't complain at all. I mean, if I were to complain anything, we had, I think, 6 GCs at the bid, 6 or 7 GCs at the actual pre-bid walkthrough. I was hoping we would have gotten at least 1 more, if not 2 more, but this is great that we got 3. They're all pretty much right in there together, so you know the numbers are good. Some are a little wonky, but other than that, I mean, just the one alternate.
But those alternate numbers there, they had already figured countertops. That was just a step up
Exactly.
from what they already had figured. So they might have had a pretty good number already in there for
Yeah,
countertops.
exactly.
And then didn't need to raise it that much.
Exactly. So that's all that I have. Really now at this point, if you guys decide what you want to do, you let me know. We'll contact them, whoever you decide, and then we'll start working on getting bonds and insurance information from them. And then we'll tell you guys that we've got everything. It looks like it's in order. Issue a notice to proceed. We'll have pre-works to make sure that we're, you know, with Brendan and the other folks out at Iowa Park, before anything else gets started. Just kind of like how we do everything else.
Okay.
So.
And Matt, based on the timeline for now where we are, and some of this may depend on the court approves something today or takes a week. Our lease for our folks to move into starts on October 1. Will our folks need to be out of there before then, or should that be sufficient?
No,
for
that should be
Okay.
fine. Yeah, because it'll take a little while. Once you guys say go, it'll take a couple of weeks for us to make sure that we've got all their insurance information. Well, that's good to go. Then you all issue a notice to proceed. We've got to they'll start working with shop drawings and get us submittals. So there's going to be some time here between now and when they get started.
October's
Yeah.
not that far away.
It is not. It is not. It's Christmas now, isn't it, Barry?
I think so.
Okay. Do we have a motion to move forward with one of these today?
Well, yeah, I'd make a motion, we move forward with Mars Patriot.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve the bid from Mars Patriot Construction to serve as the general contractor and GMP for the Wichita County Iowa Park Annex Addition and renovation.
Is that with the upgrade?
With the upgrade for a total,
We need
thank
that.
you for clearing that.
Yeah, we need
Uh,
that.
For a total project bid amount of $1,132,356. Do we have any questions or comments on that motion or the item itself? Okay, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. There being 4 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 abstention by Commissioner Beecham, the motion passes.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
It's exciting to move forward on that project. That's gonna
Yeah.
be good.
Much needed.
Item number 5 is receive the Treasury report for August 2024. I see our treasurer is not able to make it this morning, so we will table that item unless there's objection. All right. Item number 5 is tabled, and Nancy will put that on for next week. Item number 6, discuss, consider, and/or take action to adopt the 2025 sheriff's and constables fees in accordance with Texas Local Government Code Section 118.131 with an increase to the writ of possession, eviction, for a maximum of 2 hours for a fee of $200 after 2 hours per deputy per hour, $75, the old amount, $100 is the new amount. And the addition of 2 new fees as follows. Number 1, order, civil standby, 2 deputy minimum, $200 for the first hour per deputy, $150 thereafter per deputy with county unit. Number 2, order, tax sales and auctions, 2 deputy minimum, $200 for the first hour per deputy, $150 thereafter per deputy with county unit. I will say, I'm gonna propose that we remove the increase to the writ of possession eviction. That was a request from one of our constables. The other constables weighed in and felt that they thought that the current amounts were sufficient. And so that request to move up from $75 to $100 for the writ of possession eviction, gonna suggest we take that out. But separately, we have the 2 new fees as follows. I'm going to ask Garland to come up and talk to the court about why we're requesting those 2 new fees. Morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
We requesting 2 additional fees that you see before you. One of them is the court-ordered standby, and what that entails is normally a standby like we do a protective order with a kick-out. We go out and serve whoever's getting the protective order, and we stand by while they get their toothbrush, a set of clothes, and their coffee cup, and they leave. There's no cost in that, and there wouldn't be a cost in that. That's, I think, part of the duties. Here, the other day, probably 2 months ago, realtor called and says, we've got a forced sale that we're selling some property in a house. The guy that's there doesn't want to sell it. He's part of the owner. But we was called out there a couple of times on some disturbances, and the realtor felt that it would be more secure to have one of us out there, and got it in her order for deputies to be there while they conducted the sale or anything to do with the sale. So she called back later and says, hey, the house inspector's coming in, we've got a buyer, and they're gonna inspect, and it was a 4-hour deal, so we had to go out there and sit while the part owner was still there on site, because he hasn't lost his house at that time, so he was able to be there. So, of course they wanted somebody there. So we stayed 4 hours that day, and then they have to have a surveyor. Now that took 4 days. I think we was out there a total of 6 times on this thing.
Wow.
So I think we should be recouped,
Yeah,
or be able to
absolutely.
recoup some of them fees for the county, and that's why I'm asking that court-ordered, only the court-ordered standby. The other fee is, and it wasn't because we sold Dexter's on a Saturday, but sometimes we get called to do a sale, whether we seize it or it's a tax sale or whatever, to do it on the weekends. It depends on who's selling it. Normally they'll get a auctioneer, and I'm assuming that's the best time to sell it is on the weekend. So normally that's money in the bank, because they're hopefully going to sell more, and they can recoup a lot of money to pay those fees. And the payee is going to be probably the plaintiff or whoever's requesting us to be out there. So the money's going to be there if they want us. If not, then this at least puts it in through the court that there's a fee that we can charge for this.
And so these are 2 brand new fees authorized for us to do. We just have never done them
Sure,
before.
sure. We've never done it, and I probably haven't changed fees in 10 years. But I didn't know. Now, this might be the only court-ordered standby. I don't know, but it's the first one I've seen, so I don't know if that's going to start catching on, and then, we're spending all our time out here with plaintiffs and their properties.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. It could be a forced sale or whatever, they can put it in any order. So I just think it's wise to cover maybe some of the expense of us being
But
out.
those would only be court-ordered civil standby.
Yes, court order. not just going out like, we do a lot,
There's a lot of standbys, but you probably haven't seen it. You said that's the very first one you've seen?
First court
You've
order,
been doing civil a long time.
36 years. And
So we're probably not gonna be charging this all the time.
Yeah.
No, and hopefully we won't see this very many times, but I think there was some disagreements out there before we got on scene, and they just felt it would be more safe to have someone there. And we was there 4 days and we still didn't get it all done, but I think they went back out 2 more days by themselves and didn't call us, but, I couldn't charge because it's not one of our fees. So,
It's nice to be made whole, and when we're pulling y'all off of everything else y'all could be doing.
Sure. Anyway, that's our request.
Okay. Any questions for Garland?
Motion to approve.
Second. Good plan.
Try to get some of them out.
Yeah, that's good, thank you. All right, so make sure I've got the motion right. Motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to adopt the 2025 sheriff's and constables fees with the addition of 2 new fees as follows: the civil standby order and the tax sales auctions order. No issue with taking out the constable language. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
I got one comment.
Yes, sir.
You heard Lieutenant Brent say he'd been in civil for 36 years. He was a deputy constable before I made sheriff and brought him over. And a lot of people don't realize, they think that the sheriff's offices of the county get sued by something deputies do, or arrest or something like that. Obviously, our biggest liability is the county jail. Everybody should understand that one. The second biggest liability for sheriffs in Texas and counties is the civil process area. And Garland is an expert in that field, and we trust him wholeheartedly. He is the top-notch guy for that job we've ever had in Wichita County's history, as far as I'm concerned. And I've been here for a couple of days. But and I know he works very tight with our civil guys. We got questions and all the judges. We do have some little hiccups with some of the district clerk stuff, but we're working on that still. And I just wanted to commend Garland. Garland Prince is his name. We call him GP for general purpose because he does a lot of other things. But he is an outstanding employee, very dedicated to this county, and knows his business backward, forwards, and in the dark. And we really appreciate him. He's a pretty good hand, as we call it. We really appreciate him. Just want to make that very clear. Yeah.
Sheriff, thank you.
Judge, I just want to kind of dovetail off back what the sheriff said. We appreciate what Garland and his staff does with our sales. June was a record month for tax warrants, and I know Pat was in here when we went into executive session on that, but they do us a great job day in, day out. A lot of these instances, I can assure you, and David and William and a few of us in here in law enforcement will tell you that you're selling someone's property. Emotions are running high, so it's always could possibly be a volatile situation. On the auction, this is a great ideal. Some of these auctions are kind of like the Jerry Lewis telethon. They go on forever. And they're out there on a Saturday all day long. That Dexter was a very long auction, a very successful auction. We recovered what we needed to recover. We don't have them very often. More than likely when we run a tax warrant, we're able to recover our money from other means, but every now and then we're at a point where we have to do an auction. But I do want to just back up David on that for sure. They do us a great job, and Garland's been doing it forever and a day.
Thank you, Tom. GP left, and then he gets praised by some of the people.
That's the only time we can do it.
Yeah.
We had to let him leave when we started talking.
Yeah.
That's right.
If you know him as well as we do, he's like that garage cat. You'll be here, next thing you know, he's gone. He'll be gone.
Doing work. Doesn't have time standing around.
And he's also a magician with equipment that comes out of nowhere.
All right, so we've got the motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Mahler. Any other comments, questions on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 7. Discuss, consider, and/or take action to authorize Commissioners Court to nominate individuals for each position to be filled on the Wichita Appraisal District Board of Directors and to sign resolution stating the nominees in accordance with section 6.03F of the Property Tax Code. Just want to real quick remind court our role here and what specifically we're doing today. So it's a two-step process. First, we nominate individuals. Then sometime after October 30th, once every entity that is able to nominate has done so, then we will vote on the various nominees who are put forward. We can nominate 0 to 5 individuals because we're able to nominate an individual for each board spot that needs to be filled. And the way that this will work is that the top 3 vote getters, once that happens, will serve 3 years, and the other 2 that are appointed but get the lowest amount of votes, they will serve 1 year. And so I have received names of 2 folks. We've got Austin Cooper, who is currently serving on the Appraisal District Board. And then Commissioner Watts has decided to end his time on the board and not be reappointed. And so he offered Shelby, is it Womack? Shelby Womack from Iowa Park to nominate Shelby, he or her? To nominate Shelby to the District Board of Directors. So I've gotten those 2 nominations. Do we have any others?
And that, Judge, that timeline is when?
So once the nominations are turned in, voting will happen after October 30th, but before, I think, mid-December.
Okay.
I think that
So
some
is
of
it
the smaller.
through the year, so when mine ends end of the year,
The
so
appointment
we
would be-
finish budget,
correct.
everything, okay.
Correct. All right.
Need a motion to accept that list?
Yes.
I'd make that motion.
Second. Unless somebody in here wants to run and wants to be nominated. No. No hands went up.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to nominate Austin Cooper and Shelby Womack for the board positions for the Wichita Appraisal District Board of Directors, and to sign the resolution stating those nominees. That's the motion. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Oh, and because this came up at the public hearing last week, the next election for the elected board members to that board will be November 2026 general election. All right, item number 8, discuss, consider, and/or take action to view CGI videos of the county for final approval and to place on the county's website. Do we need permission of the court to view them today? I'm just kidding. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Beecham. Look at that handsome guy.
We started this process about a year ago and finally have got the videos where I think they're pretty close to being done. Y'all might see some other things you want to add or change, but this is the kind of final product of the 6 videos.
I'm singing.
Welcome to Wichita County, Texas, a community that thrives on faith, family, and that friendly Texas spirit. With an easy pace and supported by strong values.
130,000 residents call Wichita County home.
Located in the north-central part of Texas on the Oklahoma border, Wichita County is a place of rolling plains and broad, shallow valleys. The Wichita River winds through the county seat, Wichita Falls. Lake Wichita and its adjoining parkland are popular destinations. Oil fields, farming, and ranching traditionally drive the Wichita County economy. In recent years, however, healthcare, education, manufacturing, and retail have been added to the picture. County residents always enjoy a good festival or two with a Wichita Falls original Red Draw and Red Taco at the ready.
Discover why 130,000 people wouldn't want to live anywhere else but here in Wichita County, Texas.
That's the intro video, so that would be the first one that you would come to.
In Wichita County, we offer residents a very affordable cost of living compared to the national average. The county seat of Wichita Falls was recently ranked by Niche.com number 14 among the best places in America to buy a house. Faith and family are held in high regard here, and there's nothing more traditional than a Friday night spent rooting on our local teams, or by dropping by Midwestern State University to see the fantasy of lights during the holidays. There's always a big turnout when a swarm of cyclists take to area roads and trails for the Hotter in Hell 100, one of the largest cycling events in the United States. Saddle up and hang on tight for the Texas Ranch Roundup, the original ranch rodeo. Sip on a red draught and dig into a red taco, a local specialty. There's a lot to love about living in Wichita County.
That's the quality of life video.
In Wichita County, Texas, the healthcare needs of residents are well covered by dedicated providers. United Regional Healthcare System offers a wide range of advanced medical services close to home, operating a Level 2 trauma facility, a new center for advanced orthopedics, as well as electrophysiology services which complement its local cardiology care. In the matter of mental health, drug and alcohol addiction, Red River Hospital is a leader in providing inpatient and outpatient behavioral health care with a 40-year track record of providing superior services. The Wichita Falls Wichita County Public Health District plays a crucial role in promoting public health in the county. The district offers numerous health services, including immunizations, clinical services, health and wellness programs. Midwestern State University is renowned for its Wilson School of Nursing, which offers a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree, as well as graduate training in psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner and family nurse practitioner, leading to a Master of Science in Nursing or a postgraduate certificate. Quality healthcare starts with quality healthcare providers from Wichita County, Texas.
This is economic development.
Shepherd Air Force Base has been a significant factor in Wichita County's economy for more than 80 years. Opened just after America's entry in World War II, the base remains a major training facility, not only for U.S. personnel but for NATO and other partner nations. Wichita Falls, the county's largest city, is home to various supply chain companies for aerospace and aviation, as well as agriculture, energy, healthcare, and IT systems and support. Panda Biotech emerges as a pioneer of sustainable progress. It's set to operate the United States' most expansive industrial hemp processing center. Privately owned service providers, professionals, retail, and hospitality businesses play important roles in the everyday lives of Wichita County residents. The Wichita Falls Economic Development Corporation and Downtown Wichita Falls Development promote the area's low cost of living, room for expansion, and overall business climate. Discover why Wichita County is a great place to do business. In Wichita County, our local community partners enhance our quality of life by the values and traditions they honor. A wide array of faith organizations play a significant role in community service, providing essential services as well as counseling and support. Texas hospitality, like no other place, provided by groups like the Wichita Falls Mavericks or the Wichita County Redneck Culinary Academy and their brand of Texas-style chuck wagon hospitality to local events that promote, honor, and aid persons or organizations beneficial to the area. Zavala is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving the unique cultural gifts of the Hispanic community. The Arc of Wichita County operates the Hero House, which provides support and services for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Downtown Wichita Falls Development focuses on the revitalization and development of downtown Wichita Falls. The Kitchen, a nonprofit organization in Wichita County, delivers essential services and meals to those in need, including programs like the Red Door, the Green Door, Meals on Wheels, and Kids Cafe. Contact one of these organizations or the many other local organizations today and discover the contribution you can make through your participation and support.
Looks like that's all
All of
videos.
Yep.
And they did them in April instead of August. That's great. It's green.
But the water was red.
Wichita
so-
was very red.
Very good.
Will you remind us, Commissioner, so those videos will appear where?
on our homepage, our web homepage. It just, so people can get an idea of what's happening in Wichita County. So if they click on our webpage, they have some idea what we are, who we are, and in order to do this, the company that put it together is selling advertisement, and you can also be able to click to whoever has bought advertisement, except for nonprofits, they'll automatically link. So you can go to the links through our page. So
Let's go back to that, red draws and red tacos again.
Yeah.
Can we look at that again?
anything that y'all see needs to be changed, added to, modified.
The only thing I would ask, first of all, great work. I know that for my limited part in this, that was a lot of time spent, and I know that this has been a labor of love for you, so thank you for taking that on and doing it. On the healthcare portion, did we reach out to Electra Hospital to include them as a portion of it, or?
They were told about Electra Hospital. I can go back and
Okay.
adjust that. It's not a problem.
That was my only thing that I saw that I went,
Yeah.
that might make sense to have
Okay.
a portion.
Sure.
Because they do serve a
Okay.
lot of our folks in Iowa Park and Electra in the western half of the county.
Tell me again, Mark, how that advertising works?
We get the program for free. We get the videos and updates on the videos. They sell advertisement. There'll be links to the advertisers on our page. So, like on the quality of life, if there's a quality of life issue, they'll put.
You have to click on the link to go there?
You can go there, or the nonprofits, any nonprofits in town can I think their advertisement's free for nonprofits. They can put their advertisement links in with our videos. So if you wanted to go to the red door, boom, click on the red door and it'll take you right there from our webpage.
And I don't guess that poses any issue as far as Joe Blow Construction wants to come and say, why is my link not on here?
They can buy it. I mean, it's used particularly in counties because we don't have generally a budget to self-promote.
Marketing, yeah.
So that's why they come to counties to do this, so primarily.
But so Joe Smith Construction could engage with CGI?
CGI.
Could engage with CGI, then CGI could actually make a video for them, and it wouldn't be on our website, but would work with them to link from our website, but then they can engage with them individually to do marketing for their company. I say that right?
Yeah. And they'll still host it if they don't sell a nickel's worth of advertisement. That's the commitment to us, that they would do that and then they'll take it from there.
How often will we update those?
I'd have to go back and look at what the original agreement was.
Yeah, I think the original agreement, so it's a one-time thing, if I remember correctly, but I haven't looked at it in a long time.
Yeah, it's been over a year.
We can look at that and verify.
I think they're well done,
Yeah.
very well
I
done.
kind of was hoping I'd hear the voice of Barry Mahler doing this later on, but
That can be arranged.
Yeah, I'll speak with them about adding a bit about the Electra Memorial.
Okay. Do you want to work with them and then bring it up later on for final approval, or do you want to go ahead and?
If the other videos are fine, we can go ahead and approve them, and I can bring the health video back for final approval.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Mahler. to approve the CGI videos and to place them on the county's website. With the understanding that Commissioner Beecham's going to work on the healthcare video and may make some changes to it.
Yeah, and your idea about the electric deal is good because it branches over into Iowa Park with the clinic. And
Yeah.
that's a well-operated situation out there. They do get a lot of good work.
Yeah, we gave them a whole list of things to put in there, and
Yeah.
some made it, some didn't. And it's just hard to fit it all into a small segment, so.
All right, do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. All right. The moment everyone's been waiting for. All right, item number 9 is discuss, consider, and/or take action on the maximum salary section within the proposed 2025 budget to include any additions and/or changes. Let me talk about how we're going to do this, the next 9 items on the agenda. Y'all have heard me lay this budget out and do a presentation on it 3 times now, so I'm not going to do the full presentation on the budget again and the tax rate. I'll be brief. We will be taking up 3 different sections of the budget for changes and adopting those to approve them being added in. Then we will take a vote on the budget as a whole, and then we will approve the tax rates. So let me briefly, in case there's any folks watching from home that haven't heard this yet, but this budget is an $86 million budget. That is a reduction from 2024, which was $94 million. Most of that reduction is due to ARPA funds that were spent or will be spent in 2024 for one-time projects, radio towers, the Electro Hospital projects, the construction spending as examples. So most of that reduction is due to those one-time funds being spent and no longer needing to spend that money because it's been spent already. From the standpoint of where the money is being spent in this budget and showing what our priorities are, it's in line with previous budgets. County does what the county does. We're tasked by the state to take care of public safety in a jail, and so that's 36% of our budget. To take care of, to provide a court system that's functioning and efficient, and that's 10% of our budget. To take care of indigent healthcare and indigent defense, that's 9% of the budget. And then to take care of county roads and bridges, that's 8% of the budget. Those items that I just laid out is over 2/3 of that money already. The rest of the budget is spent on general administration, so the offices that make all the other work possible, facilities, things like that. The highlighted items for the major new spending that this budget is putting in there is $550,000 for new in-car computers and body-worn camera software for our sheriff's office, $350,000 for new IT security protections, equipment replacement, and licenses to make us more secure and to function better. $1.1 million in this budget for vehicle replacement. That's mainly for the sheriff's office, though there is money in there for a couple of vehicles that aren't within the sheriff's office purview. And then $967,000 of targeted pay raises that, when averaged out, are around 3% for most county departments. All that new investment, taking care of our things that we have to do, all of that is done with a proposed tax rate of 0.523894 cents per $100 evaluation. That is down from last year's number, which was 0.542420 cents per 100. That is a reduction of 1.8526 cents in the tax rate this year. So if you put that combined with the average appraisal increases, that's going to mean that people are going to be paying an additional $3 in county taxes per 100,000 of value. Again, that's on average. If your value went up more, you'll see an increase. If it went out less, you'll see less of that or maybe even a decrease. And really, you put those two things together, we're able to make these key investments in workforce, technology, vehicle fleet replacement, and we're able to do that with essentially keeping our taxes flat. We're able to do that for two main reasons. The first, as Commissioner Mahler points out every time we talk about it, and I'm glad he does, is a reduction in debt. By paying off all of our debt except for the LEC bond, that essentially pulled $1 million of necessary expenses out of the budget immediately.
Sounds like a Dave Ramsey deal.
Yeah, the snowball. And then the second big part of how we're able to do that is by continuing to get our supplies and operations budget, what I call right-sized. Having the information in Munis has allowed us to really hone in and make sure that we're getting those numbers as close to what we actually need as possible. So again, that's my brief presentation on the budget. Happy to open up to questions or comments.
It's a
from commissioners.
1.06% increase, is that correct?
That-
1.08?
Let's see. I've looked at those numbers so much. Let me find my info I had ready for that.
I think what this shows is you have a commissioner's court up here that really wants to work for the citizens. We don't wanna overtax people. We only wanna have what we have to do the job.
Right.
This commissioner's court might not always seem like we always get along, but we get along pretty good. And we always are trying to find the best deal we can for the county, the most, not necessarily the cheapest all the time, but the best deal long-term for the county citizens. So I think this shows that tremendously. I mean, exactly what we're here to do.
Yeah. Commissioner Beecham, thank you for that. To answer your question, yeah, it's a tick over 1% increase in revenues. And of that, nearly 2/3 of it is in new property being added to the rolls.
Right.
And one of the reasons I think why we do watch after it is we all get one of those envelopes from Tommy Smythe every year. In the fall. Seems like
And it's
mine's
not a
about
Christmas
that
card.
thick. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I get a bunch of them.
Yeah, we have.
Well-
That's great, and but we do participate, and we know how tough it is to write that check.
I'll say this, in my 8 years, I think this is the best budget that we put forward.
And Judge Johnson, you've done a great job putting it together.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't happen without the work of a lot of people, department heads, elected officials, this commissioner's court. Really like to highlight Mike Sloan, appreciate his help in the auditor's office. So yeah, it is a labor of love. It's a 5-month culmination of work, and appreciate everyone's part in it. So with that, I gave a packet of information to each of the commissioners detailing each of the changes that we would be voting on in each section. The agenda item that we're on now is the max salaries changes. There is nothing here that we haven't already talked about, that I talked about in the public hearing and the workshop we had 2 weeks ago between the two. So this is not proposing any new additions or changes. This is just putting all of those in one place and asking the court to adopt those new changes into the original proposed. I'm happy to go down the line, but also happy if we just want to vote on it, we can do that as well.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Watts and seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve the proposed maximum salaries changes to the 2025 budget. Do you have any questions or comments on those proposed, or on the motion or the item? Okay. That motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 10 is discuss, consider, and/or take action on the department functions section within the proposed 2025 budget to include any additions and/or changes. Everyone should have that. It's one page, front and back. Some of it was just cleanup of items of just not having, like, for example, on the cover page for the general administration section, I had neglected to put in a number of positions correctly, because I always forget about the 5 positions in 409 that are there for potential sheriff or for jail staff. Aside from that, it reflects the changes that I discussed, like with health insurance benefits needing for extra 2 people for juvenile probation, a change in public facilities for the jail annex, or sorry, not jail annex, for the law enforcement center for utilities that I talked about on Thursday. Again, this is not proposing anything that I haven't already discussed with y'all, except for one thing. I do have one.
Oh, go ahead.
Special revenue funds in 237, I think that's the district clerk management, it might be the county clerk record management fund. We had an extra position with health insurance premiums accounted for in that. That was pointed out to be by Mr. Sloan. So this number reflects a reduction in salary and benefits of that amount, of that $10,080 premium.
I'll make the motion to approve that department function section.
Second.
Were you gonna say something, Commissioner Muller?
No, that was great. You got it.
All right. We've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Muller, to approve the department function section with the proposed changes. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 11 is discuss, consider, and/or take action on the cover sheet, budget preface, fund summary, statement of indebtedness, policy section, and/or other sections within the proposed 2025 budget to include any additions and/or changes. This is the catch-all. This one had a number of changes to it because of the what we talked about on Thursday with the change in values that came in after the Freeport exemption was missed on Vitro. That obviously meant a reduction in tax revenue coming in at that same proposed rate, which this budget proposes the same rate. That meant that every place that those revenue numbers were in the budget needed to be changed to reflect it. It also meant that all of the changes that what we just talked about and approved with salaries and functions, those needed to be accounted for and changed in multiple locations throughout the budget. It also reflects what's, all of it's important, but what's especially important on the cover sheet, it reflects the no new revenue rates and new voter approval tax rates as well. Y'all can see the various other changes that were made. It does also include our updated truth and taxation worksheets, which the Tax Assessor Collector's Office had to put together for us quickly when we got the new numbers. I just want to shout them out one more time and thank them for the work on this. And it is a small change, but it's one that is a change, and I don't think I've talked about it yet. Again, Mike pointed out that in our current debt payments secured by property taxes number, that did include our bank fees as well as the actual debt, and thought that that was a little bit of a misnomer to say that those fees are also secured by property taxes. So you will see a small, I think it's a $1,250 difference, but there is a small difference in that number. In this budget, it's smaller versus what it was before. Didn't change rates, didn't change anything like that, but felt it was more honest to taxpayers.
So, just for clarification, and we talked about this at length on our public meeting the other night, a Freeport exemption was improperly applied that we learned about Wednesday of last week.
So late Tuesday of last week, the
Tuesday,
appraisal
okay.
district office notified me and notified Assessor Collector's Office on Wednesday that they had not properly applied a Freeport exemption to Vitro.
Okay.
And what that meant was essentially a $48 million tax exemption was not was not taken out. So
Right.
the taxable revenues number that were given to us were too big by about 48 million. It's a little bit over that now because some of the other, that number is always moving.
Yeah.
And so when they fixed that, they also provided us the other changes that had moved the value, but that's essentially what it is.
Which
It
lowered our
required-
revenue by about
Yep.
250,000.
Correct.
Right, it required us to refigure everything in the truth and taxation worksheet in order to come up with our final truth and taxation statement.
That's
which-
correct, because
so-
as we've talked about multiple times in here, and we talked about on Thursday, if you lower a value to get the same amount of revenue, you're going to raise the rate
So,
on what
Right.
those calculations are, and so that's what that did.
so we're losing about $250,000 in revenue.
Yep.
But we had advertised a specific tax rate, and we didn't re-advertise that tax rate to go up to account for that loss.
Correct. So at the new value, we still proposed the same rate,
Right.
which means. a
Which
lower
was,
quarter
and
million.
was closer marked to our no new revenue rate.
Right, it moved us very close to the no new revenue.
Yeah.
Within a half of 1 cent.
I'll make that motion, Judge, to
Second.
move forward. And Kendra and Tommy, thank y'all very much for 9th-hour work
Yeah,
that you put in there, so we really appreciate that.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve the cover sheet, budget preface, fund summary, statement of indebtedness, policy section, and other sections with the proposed changes, and incorporate those into the 2025 budget. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, item number 12, discuss, consider, and/or take action to adopt the 2025 Wichita County budget.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to adopt the budget, 2025 budget. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all. All right, item number 13. Discuss, consider, and/or take action to set the maintenance and operation M&O rate at the proposed rate of .458868 for the constitutional funds and .028585 for the special road and bridge tax, for a total of .487453, or as changed.
This is minus the INS,
That's correct.
and I'll make that motion.
second.
I think that was exactly the same time. We'll go with Commissioner Fincannon on that one. All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to set the M&O rate at the proposed rate of .458868 for constitutional funds and .028585 for the special road and bridge tax for a total of .487453. Do we have any questions or comments on that motion or the item? Okay, I think we need a voice vote on this one, so I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Okay. Judge Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Beecham,
Aye.
Commissioner Fincannon,
Aye.
Commissioner Muller,
Aye.
Commissioner Watts.
Aye.
There being 5 ayes, 0 nays, the motion passes. Item number 14, discuss, consider, and/or take action to set the 2025 budget debt service, INS rate at .036441.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion
Beat
by,
me again.
motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to set the INS rate at .036441. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Judge Johnson,
Aye.
Commissioner Beecham,
Aye.
Commissioner Fincannon,
Aye.
Commissioner Muller,
Aye.
Commissioner Watts.
Aye.
There being 5 ayes, 0 nays, the motion passes. Item number 15, discuss, consider, and/or take action to set the special road and bridge tax rate at .028585.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Watts to set the special road and bridge tax rate at .028585. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, ask the clerk to call the roll.
Judge Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Beecham?
Aye.
Commissioner Fincannon?
Aye.
Commissioner Waller?
Aye.
Commissioner Watts?
Aye.
There being 5 ayes, 0 nays, the motion passes. I need to make sure I've got my language right on this
It
one.
wouldn't do much.
Sorry, hold on, folks. Well, I had it.
Yeah, you looking for the,
No, I had a separate sheet. Probably in this stack of stuff.
you have always a lot of papers.
This is where people make fun of me for my paper.
Biggest stack of paper we have all year.
Yeah. On a lot of different things.
Hold on, folks, just pull my computer up, it's on there. This is where Nancy gets to say, I told you so, on having language on the agenda. Okay. Item 16, discuss, consider, and/or take action to set the tax rate with a motion as follows. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of .523894, which is effectively a 1.09% increase in the tax rate. The order also needs to include the language, this tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. And the tax rate will effectively be raised by 2.16% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on a $100,000 home by approximately $9.72.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Watts has made the motion, Commissioner Beecham has seconded to move that the adoption of a tax rate of .523894, which is effectively a 1.09% increase in the tax rate. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Restate that cost per homeowner? Because isn't that slightly different than
It
what it
is.
is in the
So
budget?
this number is calculated based on just maintenance and operations over the no new revenue rate,
Okay.
not over what the actual amount that it is currently, which is
So-
why it's a different number.
So which number is more correct?
Do you think,
First number.
does a taxpayer
Which-
care about the overall taxes or
Yeah.
what the taxes would have been on just maintenance and
Okay.
operations?
Okay,
Because that's what this number is talking about.
right. Okay.
We are in a position too, because we adopt a special road and bridge rate that is essentially lower than what a no new revenue rate would be for that,
Mhm.
which is an added complication.
Okay.
This is language that has to be in here
Right.
per
I-
the
I understand
statute.
that. It just,
I just
I
think
don't
it
want-
unnecessarily confuses folks.
that's why I wanted to ask.
Yep. Any other, it's a good question and a good clarification. Any other questions on the motion or the item? All right, then I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Judge Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Beecham?
Aye.
Commissioner Fincannon?
Aye.
Commissioner Muller,
Aye.
Commissioner Watts.
There being 5 ayes and 0 nays, the motion passes. Once again, I would like to thank everybody for their hard work on this. Okay, item number 17, receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes.
All right. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, the 30th District Court looks amazing. They put the second coat of finish on it over the weekend, and wow, they're going to actually do a third coat. They're, I think, scheduled tomorrow night to do the third coat, so it will look tremendous when it's done. Finishing up the annex, had a meeting yesterday with all the parties involved in getting us the final certificate of occupancy. I think that's on the way this week, so. We
Nearly
should-
there.
Nearly there. One more hurdle to cross. I think that's, the issues that we had last week have been significantly resolved, so.
And we, Mark, you might mention that we've got a new, advertisement up in the lobby area of the ground floor of the new picture frames.
Oh, yeah, the Legends Project has been in the mini museum, we call it, down in the lower first part of the first floor, the elevator lobby. We have a rotational display. It was just updated this week to include the overall Legends Project, which includes the Charlie O'Ferris Memorial that will be installed later this fall. I think we've got a tentative date on that. It's October 25th, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, that's why I haven't said
think
anything.
that,
It's
I
just
think
tentative.
that's correct, but yeah, that's underway right now, completion of that memorial area. Really excited about that. Talked to Tommy earlier this week, and what we're going to do is, once a display has been shown in the courthouse, we're gonna move it to the annex, so we get double use out of it, so. They put a lot of effort and time into those displays, and they do a very good job. We will make sure as much of the public sees them as possible.
A lot more public over there seeing.
Yeah, they're all, yeah,
Than
so,
the half floor here.
so
Yeah.
we're gonna start them at the courthouse and then move them to the annex, and then.
I'm glad to hear that, because there's a lot of work goes into those, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the courthouse history one.
Yeah.
That was
They're-
2 ago, but
Ann and her folks at the Art Alliance do a tremendous job putting those together. Very factual, very interesting, all dealing with Wichita County greater community and the great people that have been in our past, so.
Yep.
That's all I have.
any questions on this item? Okay. It is 11:13 and court is adjourned.